Welcome to the deep dive. We've got a really interesting piece of source material for you today.
Oh yes? What have we got?
Well, one of our listeners sent in this fantastic write-up. It's a dramatised story from, believe it or not, a tabletop role-playing game session.
Okay, interesting. What's the game?
It's called Sand and Steel. This particular session was called Raid on Luftwaffe 32, and it takes its cues from that great TV show SAS Rogue Heroes.
Okay, I know the one. Intense stuff.
Exactly. And it uses the Cepheus Modern rule set as the engine behind it all. So think of this as us digging into a really cool example of people creating a story together.
Right? Collaborative storytelling with Cepheus Modern.
Yeah, that makes sense. To get what makes this raid tick, it helps to know a bit about the system.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So Cepheus Modern, it's built on the broader Cepheus engine. It's known for being pretty adaptable, good for different settings, focuses on adventure. The core mechanic is pretty simple, really. You're rolling two six-sided dice, try and get under a target number based on skills, attributes, that sort of thing.
So skill-based.
Exactly. And that focus on skills and like problem solving, we'll definitely see that pop up in the raid story.
And the inspiration SAS Rogue Heroes. That show really throws you in, doesn't it? World War II, North Africa, the birth of the SAS.
Absolutely. All those incredibly daring, sometimes frankly crazy operations behind enemy lines, disrupting things against huge odds.
Which brings us to this specific write-up. Raid on Luftwaffe 32.
Yes. And it's really important right up front for you listening to remember what this is. It's a story.
A fictional one.
Exactly. It's what happened in this specific game. It's not history class, but it's a brilliant look at how you can weave these thrilling narratives using game rules inspired by real history.
Okay, let's paint a picture then. It's World War II North Africa. Things are looking pretty grim for the Allies.
Yeah, the context is crucial. Rommel's Africa Corps. They've just blasted through the Gazala line, taking Mirza Matruh.
So, the British 8th Army under Auchinleck, they're falling back, trying to make a stand at El Alamein.
And making things even worse is the Luftwaffe. The German Air Force is really starting to dominate the skies, which is bad news for the guys on the ground.
So the Game Master here has set up a really high-stakes backdrop. Control of the air is vital.
Totally. And this is where the long-range desert group, the LRDG, comes in. These were the real-deal units operating deep behind the lines, recon sabotage.
Like the SAS in the show.
Pretty much. It's that kind of asymmetric warfare vibe. The game is capturing small teams, making a big impact.
And that's where you, the listener, kind of step into the boots. You're part of one of these LRDG teams in the game.
Right. The session starts with the player characters at this fortified supply depot south of El Hammam airfield waiting for orders.
You can just feel the tension, can't you? Knowing the bigger picture.
Definitely. And then comes the briefing from Major Kilburn. He doesn't sugarcoat it. El Alamein's critical and the Luftwaffe is a massive problem.
So the mission is
Infiltrate a German airfield. Luftwaffe 32 or L32. It's pretty remote out to the south. Classic commando stuff. Mine the planes, the fuel, the anti-aircraft guns, anything that hurts their air power.
maximum damage, minimum footprint. And stealth is key, right? They're massively outnumbered.
Oh, absolutely. The briefing stresses it. Stealth above all. If you have to engage, it's got to be silent, swift. No big firefights.
But then there's a twist. This rumour.
Yeah, this is interesting. Rumours of some new German superweapon may be being tested or stored at L32.
Okay, that changes things.
It does. Suddenly, it's not just sabotage. It's potential intel gathering, or maybe even taking this weapon out before it's used. Destroy it or report back. High stakes.
And success isn't just about blowing stuff up on the night.
No, it's bigger. If they cripple the base, it opens the door for the Desert Air Force to come in and finish the job properly. It shows how this small raid fits into the larger strategy.
Right, so the team gears up. What do they take?
The practical stuff. They get a truck, a jeep, load them up with supplies, weapons, and critically the demolition kits.
Got to have the explosives.
You do. And adding a bit of flavour, they've got two drivers assigned, Uncle Mike and Ollie. Kiwis.
Nice touch. Grounding it a bit.
Yeah, it adds that human element, the support structure. And the clock starts ticking immediately. They leave after dark, plan to hit L32 around midnight.
Which gives them, 5 hours?
It's about that. 5 hours until dawn. That time pressure is classic. Builds the tension right away.
So they get dropped off, but not right at the doorstep.
No, about a mile out. And Uncle Mike and Ollie are very clear. We leave at dawn with or without you.
Oh, no pressure then.
Not at all. So, first things first, recon. They find a sand dune overlooking the airfield.
And what do they see?
It's quite the setup. 2 runways, tents, buildings, a control tower, all inside concertina wire. Watchtowers, bunkers, even some emplaced guns. Looks tough. A proper hard target.
Definitely. And then a key moment for one of the characters, Pikey. He spots a minefield.
Standard perimeter defence.
But Pikey notices sometimes.
What's that?
He figures it's probably an anti-vehicle minefield, which means maybe, just maybe, a careful man on foot could get through.
Exactly. This is where player skill, maybe a good dice roll in the game, comes into play. He thinks he can find a path.
And he does. He identifies and marks a safe way through, right up to the wire.
Brilliant. So, they cut the wire.
Yep. Classic infiltration, cut through between the watchtowers, slip inside the perimeter.
Okay, they're in. Now the tricky part.
Very tricky. Moving quiet, hitting those key targets before anyone notices. They spot the planes or Ho-9s, Heinkels, Stukas, the things they came to destroy.
Dodging searchlights, patrols, this is edge-of-your-seat stuff.
It really is. And Pikey's still thinking ahead. He scouts forward, plants a charge on a field gun for an early bang, sets some booby traps just to add to the chaos later.
Smart, spreading the love, as it were.
Sort of. While he's doing that, the others are hitting the main targets, sneaking into tents, hangars, planting charges on as many aircraft as possible against the clock, remember?
And they must run into guards eventually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The write-up mentions having to take out patrols silently. Silenced weapons, close combat, quick and quiet.
Any specific moments stand out?
There's one bit where they ambush 2 guards near a tent, deal with them, hide the bodies. Very clinical, very necessary to keep the alarm from sounding.
It shows the grim reality of it.
It does. And they're not just hitting the planes. They plant more charges in barracks, officer quarters, but with timers set to go after the first explosions.
Catch them when they react.
Clever.
Yeah. Maximise the disruption. But getting out isn't simple either. They run into trouble near the extraction point. 2. More guards.
Just when they thought they were clear.
Exactly. And this is where character skills come in again. Jack's wearing a stolen German flight officer's uniform. Risky.
Very risky.
And Maximilian speaks German fluently, so Max tries to bluff, also in German uniform, pretending Jack is sick or something.
Does it work?
Almost. But the guards get suspicious. Maybe they rolled well on their perception check in the game. Who knows?
So it goes south fast. Max has to use his knife. Jack uses his silenced pistol. It's brutal, but it clears their exit path.
Wow. Okay, path clear. Now back through the minefield.
Yep, carefully following the path Pikey marked earlier. Speed and caution needed.
And do they make it?
They do, just as they reach the safety of the dunes. Boom, the first charges go off.
Must have been quite a sight.
Oh, absolutely. The description's great. Flames, smoke, sirens wailing, searchlights going nuts, AA guns firing wildly. Pure chaos, their work paying off.
And Uncle Mike's waiting
Right on time with the jeeps. His reaction is apparently just this dry, sardonic nod like, looks like you lads were busy?
Love it. Seen it all before.
Probably. So, they pile in, leaving the burning, crippled base behind them. Mission accomplished.
And they've forwarded the way for that follow-up air raid.
Exactly. They hit the Luftwaffe hard, degraded their ability to operate, and created that window for the Desert Air Force. Job done for now. You get the sense of, okay, what's next?
Right? So wrapping up this deep dives into the raid on Luftwaffe 32, what a ride. It's such a great snapshot of how these tabletop RPGs, like using Cepheus Modern, inspired by things like SAS Rogue Heroes, can generate these amazing stories.
Totally. You see the planning, you see individual character moments mattering. Pikey in the mines, Jack's risky uniform, Max speaking German. It all weaves together.
And the game system itself, Cepheus Modern, provides that structure, doesn't it? The challenge, the minefield, the patrols, the deadline, they likely come from the rules pushing the players. Absolutely. And overcoming those challenges, pulling off the mission against the odds. That's the core appeal, isn't it? The satisfaction of success in the game world.
It really highlights that unique thing about collaborative storytelling. You know, exploring these what-if scenarios. How about you listening? What grabs you about this kind of story? Could you see yourself on a mission like that?
Yeah. And what other settings, historical or maybe sci-fi or fantasy, do you think would make for a great game like this? Where else could you tell these kinds of player-driven stories? Definitely something interesting to think about.